Well.
Another life that's so-called for you and
mine.
Me. Yeah, and mine. Thank you. Today's the substitute, Jenny. And this substitute does not actually turn into a praying mantis and bite off the heads of teenage boys.
So I would call Vic Racine an upgrade from Natalie French for sure.
Yeah, big time. Also, he's really invested, if I remember correctly, as a substitute. Like, it's not like the substitute. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like just, this person, they're going to be gone tomorrow. He's really around.
Yeah, you think that he's going to be gone tomorrow, but then he just still is there. And I feel like if the events of the episode hadn't played out the way they did, that he would just still be teaching that class.
Yeah.
Today. Obviously, he has like some stuff going on in his personal life that's nobody's business in the school system, but which is like not great. But as a teacher, I think he's doing great.
He's cracking those brains right open, you know?
Yeah.
Telling those kids to ask about what's happening around them in the world.
The one gigantic question mark I have is, what do you think? The only thing that I don't understand about Vic is his obsession with the beautiful mind of Jordan Catalano. Does Jordan Catalano do something in this episode that warrants Vic being like this brilliant boy, this amazing young man?
Well, I think, a
voice of a generation.
Oh, Vic, you too will fall just like the rest of us have fallen.
Yeah, I think he's mistaking crystalline blue eyes and eyelashes out to here and silky Pantene Pro V hair. With
Do you think that Jordan washes his hair with Pantene Pro V?
I don't know. It's very shiny.
That would be incredible.
It is the era.
That would be really incredible. I probably say this like in a podcast, maybe even in this podcast, but I learned about Pantene Pro V that like the reason it makes your hair shiny is because it just coats every strand with like stuff that
wax.
You can
it's
pull
loaded
off with your
wax.
fingernails.
Yeah. Oh, different times.
The 90s when you could wash your hair and coat it in wax or wash your hair and have an orgasm. You know, those were two options.
The two. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this episode first, or do you want us to place ourselves on the list from the zit first?
Oh, we should. Yeah, you know what? We should
did
clean.
promise.
Well, actually, no. That feels like dessert. Let me just
dessert?
Like,
okay,
go through. Okay. I don't have any tales to share that could be fact checked by Googling like Jenny New Jersey substitute. I have no good substitute teacher things to say.
Okay.
I do feel like at some point after I graduated, there were like one or two teacher and student scandals at my school.
Like teacher and student relationship scandals?
Correct.
Yeah.
I
only had rumors of those.
What's going on here, but
never like I never witnessed anything like in real time. Just like, oh, before you got to this high school, this teacher, like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of a vibe, which who knows what was real and what was not.
Yeah. Teens making stuff up? Never heard of it. You guys talk about something in this episode too that I wanted to touch on, which is that someone called you a ditz. And then upon looking up the definition of the word ditz, you were like, sounds like me.
That was a real epiphany moment. I remember it.
And Joanna was like, that doesn't sound like my friend Kristin. And then you guys invited people to write in about it. And I was just wondering if you had any recollection of the results of those.
I don't know if this really confirms my theory that I am a ditz, but I have
you got nothing.
I got nothing. I remember my experience of reading that word and being like, oh, I don't remember. Do you remember what the definition was?
It was something like, you were like, I thought it meant you were like stupid or vapid or whatever, but actually it's like scattered.
Yeah. Like thinking about one thing and doing another just feels like me. That's because, and I think I remember it being such an epiphany because I was like, oh, and people like perceive that as your stupid or unintelligent or whatever the word you want to use to describe it, but like actually your brain just works very differently than like people around you. I felt very like empowered by learning the definition, but Joanna, I do remember her like taking me to the mats on like my friend Kristin.
She wanted to take other people to the mats on your behalf.
Yeah, well, oh right, yeah, but she took me to the mats on like not being allowed to use the word ditz to describe myself is what I meant.
Well, she's supportive of your reclamation.
Yeah,
but also had, felt it was her duty as your friend to do some further examination. Okay, let's get to the real meat of this intro, Kristin.
Yeah, what we're really here to do. Okay, Jenny, I'm going to text you the categories, okay?
Okay.
And then from there, you will read me a category. And so listeners, just in case this is your first episode for some inexplicable reason, there's a list in the episode prior. That's it. And it ranks people on things such as
sophomore girls specifically.
Yes, sophomore girls specifically. It ranks them, hottest sophomore babe, best legs, etc. So Jenny asked what things we were, and I said, well, we should just pick our names out of a hat. It's actually a mug, but it'll do. And I've put our names in. We've decided that Jenny automatically gets best hair, and I automatically get best laugh. We've awarded ourselves one, and then the rest will be picked at random. We're each in here 4 times. And then our editor, John Mark Nelson, who doesn't even edit this podcast, will probably never hear this, is in there 1 time because we decided that's what we should do.
Yeah. Spread the company cheer. All right, Kristin.
Okay.
Who's the hottest sophomore babe of the pod?
Jenny, the hottest sophomore babe of the pod is me, Kristin.
Congrats.
As predicted.
Sure. And then best butt? Question mark?
Best butt? Oh my God. It seems like I'm doing a prank where I just put my own name in, but
wow, it's Kristin again.
It's me. I have the best butt.
Okay. Best legs?
I really hope this is John Mark. It's Jenny. Jenny gets best leg.
Ooh la la. Okay, best global endowments.
Sharon Chersky, of course. Why? Oh, it's Jenny. Jenny, best global endowments.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
You cannot choose.
Best hair we know is me.
Yes.
Best dressed.
Okay, best dressed. Jenny.
That's so nice. Best kisser. John Mark.
Sorry, it's me. Kristin Russo, best kisser of the pod.
Okay. Most slut potential.
God damn it. John Mark Nelson. Perfect. 10 out of 10.
And best laugh is you.
Best laugh is me. And then there's one about feet that we don't know what it says.
Yeah. Something feet.
Something feet. And that's you, Jenny.
Okay, so I've got something feet. Best global endowments. Best legs and best hair.
Yeah, and what do I have? Best butt.
You have hottest sophomore babe, best butt,
and best kisser.
Best kisser. Wait, did I say that I was also best dressed?
No, you didn't. Best dressed, and then John Mark.
And then best laugh for you as well.
Yes,
and then John Mark Nelson has most slut potential.
Most slut potential. It's my favorite thing that he could have possibly. The only thing that would have made me even more thrilled is if he got best global endowments.
That actually sounds like absolutely fucking none of anybody's business.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun. I wish there was a poll every episode.
I know. I was thinking like when you were like, I don't want best global endowments. I was like, it would be so nice if we could like trade them like playing cards. Like you give me best global endowments and I'll give you.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works in the cruel halls of high school, folks. You got to keep what you've been assigned. Okay, Jenny. So is that all you have for us today before we go and get taught by substitute Vic?
Yeah, it was a light. Oh, you know what I did want to mention? Actually, I forgot about it. Recently, I was having a conversation with some people about like teachers having like like memorable / weird last names.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kind of like running some down for me. And I was thinking the entire conversation about my high school creative writing teacher, Ms. Delatush.
Oh, that's an unfortunate last
Who
name for a teacher.
began the class. She was like probably in her like early 20s. And she began the class by being like, "Hi, I'm Ms. Delatush. The number one rule of this class is nobody is going to make fun of my last name." And immediately, somebody that I was friends with immediately just like went all in on some kind of butt related joke, and
just like out loud in front of the class.
Yes. Yeah. And like I
Wow.
think was just immediately ejected.
Wow, bold. Seems the stuff best saved for notes passed in class.
Yeah, just or like after, just like wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. Or just don't actually would be really preferred.
I like that she owned it though. She was like, you know what, best
She was
way
like,
forward.
I know what my last name is.
Yeah. I know that my last name sounds like butt.
Which then in turn made me think about a woman who we once heard about, who was a relative of someone we knew, whose first and last name were both gay. Her name was
my
Gay.
God, yes, gay. And she was so upset about gay people. That was the twist.
Yeah, tough name to
Gay
to be given,
gay.
and then tough last name to marry into.
Imagine your
you're
first
gonna be a
name is
homophobe.
Gay, and then you are like, and now I've met the man of my dreams. What is your name? And he's like, John Gay. And you're like, and that's it for me. I have to.
Well, Kristin, what if when you met Jesse Kristin, drummer of Jukebox the Ghost, you two had fallen madly in love and gotten married? That you would be Kristin.
Kristin has a certain ring to it, you know.
All right, let's not undersell gay. At a certain point, do you start
with two gays in her name?
Do you just start pronouncing it like G''gay?
Yeah,
gay.
Gay. All right. Well, I guess it's time to go over into The Substitute, which, of course, just as every episode that we discuss and re-air, aired 30 years ago today, precisely.
Truly chilling stuff.
I mean, what is the point of school if you can't say what you're thinking? Do you have to be the personal spokesperson for the entire school? You told me to pick my battles. Well, this is it. It may not be a war protest or a civil rights demonstration, but it's all I've got. Well, that's not completely true. There are a couple of truths. You said I needed to decide what to fight for. I decided. I just think it's wrong to censor people, and I'm willing to get suspended for it.
Mr. and Mrs. Chase, Angela.
Hello, I am Kristin Russo.
I'm Joanna Robinson.
And this is another episode of The Boiler Room, a podcast where we are having the best time of all times discussing my so-called life, one episode at a time, spoiler free.
I'm really enjoying it. This week, we are discussing episode 6, The Substitute, which was written by Jason Katims, who went on to do shows like Friday Night Lights and Parenthood, and directed by Ellen S. Pressman, our second female director of the season, which is crazy. And I think our first female director of the season, third overall, which is nuts because this show only has a few episodes. So
yeah,
take that, Game of Thrones. And this episode originally came out September 29th, 1994.
Joanna, the fact that we're 6 episodes in means that we are almost a third of the way through our podcast already.
It's nuts. It's really nuts. It's so funny. Some people are giving me grief for, I don't know, overcommitting in my life, doing too many things. And they're like, I can't believe you took on another podcast. I was like, listen, it's going to be swift. It's a swift one.
It's over before it's begun. So
It's true. But I'm really excited for all the people who've joined us for this watch and people who are joining us even right now with this episode. I'm really excited. It's been really fun. I just got a text from a friend of mine who works in the film industry, and he was listening to the podcast. He was like, you just blew my mind about Jason Katims and the whole Landry, Riggins, Jordan Catalano, Brian Krakow thing. And yeah, that's the thing, is like the ripples of this show. We can never underestimate the ripples of this show and what it did for TV going forward. So.
Right. And this is like coming off of the Zit going into the Substitute is a real 1-2 punch. Like these 2 episodes have a lot in them.
Well, it's funny because I texted you while I was watching this morning, rewatching, and I was like, I love this episode. You're like, yeah, this is an important one. Are they all important? And they are. I mean, there's just so few of them, and they're all good and precious. And I mean, maybe there's a weak one here or there, but like this is a very strong one.
This one, because, and obviously we'll go through it beat by beat as we do, but this one just like takes a hard turn in a way that I find incredible and fascinating.
Yes.
And, yeah. So it starts off like out of the gates we get, and I think we've talked about being in high school and the way that we view teachers in high school, most of us, that like they're just teachers. They can't exist outside of the school. And if they do, it's really weird. And so we start with this Angela monologue where she's like, maybe teachers have a secret life where they're human. And I was like, yeah, right. We talked about this. And then she's like, or where they have like dignity. And it's just this clip of this teacher like desperately trying to get the like pull down map to come down. And it just is a really good glimpse into like how I think a lot of high school students view the majority of their teachers, which is of course where the Substitute in this episode differs from so many of the other teachers that they have.
He is an exception. I was wondering, I wanted to pick your brain before we sort of dive into scene by scene.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the a new teacher comes and changes everyone's lives genre of film?
Yeah, it's a good question. And for our listeners who might have been younger in this era, I think it's important to note, because as I was watching this, I'm like, okay, I need to like figure out where all of these, because the 90s to me is just various scenes of classrooms with teachers coming in and fixing everything because they are like super cool,
right?
Or super white. So
Michelle
Pfeiffer looking at you, buddy. But yeah, so like Dead Poets Society, right, is like 1989,
right,
which is Robin Williams, and that's like a boarding school, I believe, where he like comes in and he shakes shit up because he like talks to the kids like they're people and what have you. Then Dangerous Minds is after that, or well, almost the same time, I guess, 95. So. Yeah. And that's like one of the biggest white savior movies of all time, where Michelle Pfeiffer goes into this school. I actually read a little bit about it today, Joanna. I don't know if you know this already, but so Dangerous Minds is Michelle Pfeiffer goes basically into this like inner city school. It's entirely students of color. If you know who Michelle Pfeiffer is, she's pretty white, about as white as they come, and she sort of like is like cool and like makes them think outside the box and like helps them learn.
I
feel like
she was like military, so like she can survive in the mean halls of this school. I loved that movie, actually.
Oh my god, me too.
When I was young. Yeah, and I really wanted to be a teacher, and that was like one of the things that I really wanted to go into, like Teach for America, which was about like going into some of these classrooms and stuff like that. And I like not that I would have like been as cool as Michelle Pfeiffer seems in that movie with like wearing a leather jacket and stuff like that, but I wanted to like get kids excited about Keats or whatever it was that she was doing. I absolutely recognize it's problematic. I also think what's funny is that like it is absolutely a white savior movie, but like maybe one of the early, or like an early one. You know what I mean? Like to the point where like we didn't have a name for it then.
Right.
And anyway, so and also let us not forget that I believe it gave us one of the best jams of all time.
What this is all about. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left.
Which in turn gave us Weird Al Yankovic's Amish Paradise, which is just, like, these are all important parts of our culture. Anyway, I love that movie. There's a much older movie called To Sir with Love, which is Sidney Poitier coming into like it's Dangerous Minds is kind of like a race reverse, because Sidney Poitier comes into this like really tough London school. Like, he's their like erudite. Sidney Poitier, a black man, comes in and teaches these like rough and tumble East Londoners. I believe they're East Londoners. Please don't at me if they're from Manchester. They're British. They're tough kids. A lot of them, most of them are white. So I think they were kind of trying to like play with that a little bit. Not excusing sort of Dangerous Minds. It doesn't age particularly well. There's also Stand and Deliver was a really important one that I remember with
Joanna. Don't forget the 1993 classic Sister Act 2.
Sister Act 2, absolutely.
Lauryn Hill.
There's the Emperor's Club, which with Kevin Kline, which is a shameless Dead Poet Society ripoff.
Yeah.
So I love a teacher movie. We don't get them as much anymore. There's one of the ones I really love is Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, Gosling plays a teacher who comes in and like helps some tough kids, but like he's a very good teacher. He's very inspirational, but he's dealing with like his own major addiction issues. And so that's a movie that I think resonates with this, because in all those, I don't know. I think maybe even in Dead Poet Society, like Robin Williams is this amazing teacher, but I think we're also supposed to believe that he has his own issues, and that's the genius of this episode, that it really underlines that, which we'll get to.
This teacher, do you want to talk about Vic Racine and the actor who plays him?
Roger Rees. I know a lot about Roger Rees. He was one of the preeminent Shakespearean stage actors. He's British. I don't quite know what accent he's doing in this episode, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's trying for American, and it like doesn't always land. But he's British. A lot of people know him from his work on The West Wing. He was also on Cheers for a while. He did a series, I think, of great one-man shows where he talked about Shakespeare and like his use on stage, whatever. So like Roger Rees is this like, he's also in the 1999 Midsummer Night's Dream. So like Roger Rees is just one of those guys, when he shows up, like, I know I'm in for a really good show. Like he can just like command an audience, and he's just got that like pay attention to me charisma oozing from him, air about him. And it's perfect, because like he's not dazzlingly handsome. Like he's a handsome fella or whatever, but like he's you're not just like, oh, our hot substitute teacher. It's like our intensely charismatic substitute teacher, and that stage presence is what he brings to this. And I love this casting. I think he's fantastic in this role.
I did a little bit of research on him, just like learning about some of the things that you said, Joanna, and clocking him, because I recognized him and I didn't know why, and it was from The West Wing. He played Lord Marbury, which is a really memorable character if you watch The West Wing. Yeah. But he passed away in 2015, and the information that I read about him passing away, I felt was so like indicative of how this man probably worked in his life. He was at the time he was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he was cast opposite Cheetah Rivera in a musical called The Visit, and he literally rehearsed, previewed and opened this show, and during that time he had 2 brain surgeries. He was like going through chemo, and he still like kept working and did the show and opened the show during that time. And I just felt like, this is you can tell that he's an incredible performer, and I feel like that it's very sad that he passed, but also just the work ethic and like probably the love for his craft, I think shows through that story.
Yeah, what a complete legend. Yeah, absolutely. Right? He died as he lived, just like giving the theater his all. So perfect casting for this. I just think he's incredible in this role. And this is like undeniably definitely hugely influenced by Dead Poet Society, but I think he's doing something that's different enough from what Robin Williams does, that I don't think of this as a ripoff in that way,
So I feel like, it's hard to not be kind of meta with this episode right out of the gates, just talking about this teacher, because I think that there's a lot of brilliant things, but one of the most brilliant things in this episode is the fact that this teacher is incredible and like really cracking their brains open, and at the same time is not perfect. And I just want to like bring it up at the jump, because I find that this is an issue that so many people have in life, like way past high school, where we idealize our heroes and like don't understand that they are not all that we think that they are, that like they are flawed, and that like we can take value from certain things and lessons from certain things, but not put these people up on like these people. I don't know who I mean by these people, but put our idols up on pedestals.
Right.
And I just feel like fuck, because when I watch these episodes and think about myself watching them at 13, 14 years old, it's just the lessons are so important. Like these are things that I could stand to remember now.
Absolutely. And a note that I wrote down a couple episodes ago, and I don't remember if I said it at the time, was like, we talked about Graham being this like grown adolescent, this tall adolescent, right? And Amber definitely is as well. And so my question sometimes is like, is Patty the only adult in the room?
Oh my God.
Ever?
Right.
And this is another example of that, is like, here's this adult that Angela's like, oh, is it this adult? Is this adult the adult that's going to show me the way to like live my life? And then he lets her down. And like something that I really value is that this season of television, and who knows what would have happened if my so-called life had gone on, but the season of television, as we discussed before, is so much about Angela like trying on these different personalities or whatever. So like this is the episode where she's kind of they're all trying on this character.
Yeah.
Like even Graham is like got his toothpick going, you know what I mean? So like they're all trying on adopting this persona. And what I feel like almost always, or maybe always happens, is Angela then just figures out like what lesson to take and move on, and what to leave behind.
Yeah.
You know?
She's a fucking badass,
Yeah.
Angela Chase. Truly.
Really so much in this episode. So we were talking a little bit in one of our bonus episodes that I will have gone up, I think, before this,
Yes.
about like the quote unquote likability of Angela Chase. And I really, really, really admire her in this episode. And there's some episodes where I feel for her because she's an adolescent, and I feel my own adolescent feelings, and I feel for her, and I sympathize with her, and I understand even her bad choices, quote unquote bad choices. But in this episode, I'm like, I just admire you. I think you're great,
Right? This is the next like connect the dot from the minute that she was in the car with Jordan Catalano and she was like, I'm talking. Like it's like that energy.
Yes.
So in case you haven't figured it out, this is the one where there's a substitute teacher who changes everybody's outlook and prints the fucking sexy haiku poem that's not a haiku poem in the Lit magazine. And it opens in the classroom where everybody is fucking around except for Brian Krakow, who's reading his book, which is amazing.
It's perfect. Brian is peak Brian in this episode.
Oh my God. Truly. Brian's arc in this it really gets to my heart.
Yeah.
Because he's such a rule abider, really wants to stay on the like straight and narrow that he feels he's supposed to stay on. But even he, by the end, is changed. So anyhow, Vic Racine, right out of the gates, sort of enters the classroom with his two mismatched socks and his toothpick in his mouth. And he's just like, why am I here? Because some student asks why he's here. Good question. I'm just here to get paid. Like from the jump, he's just like, I'm not going to give you the answers you expect. And I'm going to make you pay attention to me because, and this is the thing about this character is he talks to them like he talks to anyone else. There's no differentiation between the fact that they're in high school and that, the parents are not. He for him, like people are people, life is fucked, the system is flawed, and he's just going to go through life being as honest as he needs to be.
Yeah.
I had a couple of teachers like this in my life. I mean, I had a couple of teachers who changed my life forever, who really treated me like adults. But I had a teacher, I was thinking about it watching this, that I wanted to have his respect, that like I felt differently about him than Angela feels about the stupid teacher who's trying to get the fucking thing down in the beginning, where she's like, oh, have some dignity. Like I really, really cared because he talked to me, this teacher, like I was an adult person. I felt like I wanted to do my work more. I wanted to push things more because I wanted him to respect me.
I wanted all of my teachers to like me. I need to talk to my therapist about this. I wasn't like an apple polisher. I just really wanted all of my teachers to like me. I think I just like craved that sort of like adult, attention or validation or whatever. But yeah,
totally.
I did. But there were teachers, like when I was watching this episode, I was like, there are teachers. They were all my English teachers, Mr. Simons, Mr. Gutierrez, the one that insisted we call him by his first name, Henrik. Like they were all like cool and young. And like, I mean, I was in the tank for my English classes anyway, but like, it was basically like these older women who all rule. I love all of my high school English teachers. And like, it was like these older women who were great, or these like hip young dudes. Like those are the two speeds of English teacher that I had in high school. And the young guys who like, maybe sometimes cross the line, like, they were good teachers, but also like, I know that they would like invite students to their, they were in bands and invited students to their gigs and stuff like that. Like this makes me sound very Brian, but I'm like, that's maybe blurring a line between authority figure and not, but
No, I had that too. Like I had teachers where we were in their homes. And there was like, I remember there being a teacher of mine whose wife like would smoke pot with us, like really not appropriate when you look back and you're an adult and you're like, now I'm that age, and like thinking about being the age that they were when they were teaching me, and me going and doing that with somebody who's 16 years old, like interesting.
Right.
But yeah, the two teachers that I was mentioning that like I think changed the shape of my life forever were my English and history teacher. They taught together, Miss Fee and Mr. Milligan, and they had us. Our textbook for that classroom was Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States.
Yep,
we put Christopher Columbus on trial, right? Like that is not. You and I are in a small crew of people who got that kind of.
Who got to read Zinn for U.S. history,
right? For fucking U.S. history? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're introduced to Vic. He's obviously going to shake shit up.
Wait, can I read you my first 4 notes from this episode?
Please.
Because I feel like we've covered all of them, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I wrote for my first note, dangerous minds. My second note is Black students, because like this is the thing about my so-called life is like there are a lot of Black students at Liberty, and they're all like wallpaper, and that bothers me. But there's a lot of Black students in this classroom, and like barely any of them have lines, right?
Right.
So dangerous minds, Black students, toothpick, what accent is Roger doing? Those are my first 4 questions, 4 notes from this episode.
So, apart from what we've talked about, I think the only other thing that's established in the first scene is that everybody at the entire school is aware of Brian and what he's going to fucking do. He's like, I'll tell you where the work is and how we can do the work. And he's like, you just hear this like cacophony of like whispers, like, Brian, come on, shut up, man. Like, fuck off.
Fucking Brian and his IBS. Yeah. No, also worth noting in the scene is like Jordan is like, oh, I'm gonna leave, and then Vic's like, sure, you can leave, but I'm gonna make fun of. Like Vic's relationship with Jordan is one of the stronger threads I think in this episode.
So your graham cracker is going to be working a cookie booth, which felt really important. I wrote graham cracker cookie booth because Danielle is a Girl Scout, and Patty, the scene is. So the next scene is Patty and Graham. They're unpacking groceries from the car, and like Graham's fucked up something at the
many groceries.
So many groceries. They forgot to get kitty litter for the cat, which I don't know.
I've never seen.
You will
seen this
never
cat.
see the cat. I don't think you ever see the cat, which is
Okay.
a hit and a miss, a swing and a miss, because
We are firmly cat people, so
Yeah, come
we
on,
would like
give us
to
come on.
meet the chase cats. What do you think the chase cat is called?
Ooh. Well,
I
who
feel like-
do you think? Angela probably named the cat, right?
Do you think
It's like-
Angela did?
well, because I feel like Angela would have been of an age. Like, I feel like the cat's probably like 4 or 5. So, like, Danielle would have been littler and she would have been like, 10.
Angela probably named it something kind of dumb.
I know, right? Like Cookie or
Yeah.
Princess. Or,
Yeah.
Not Princess. My
Socks.
sister named our cat Princess,
Oh,
which it never
no.
stuck.
I was thinking of
Um,
like Patty and Angela and Graham named the cat. Maybe it was something like cool and counterculture.
Oh my God, it was like Grateful Dead. But if they named it Trey, I named my cat Trey after the fish. They named it Jerry for
It's
the
named Jerry.
Grateful Dead.
The cat's named Jerry or like Garcia or something like that.
Oh my God. Please email us at boilerroomcast@gmail.com with your thoughts on what the chase cat is named. Please. This is my favorite thing.
The invisible chase cat. But yeah, I've never bought groceries for our family of 4, but like there's just so many groceries. It was stressing
Also,
me
fuck
out.
this grocery store with the handleless bags. Are you kidding me?
And the single bag, like we're used to a nice crisp double bag handle.
Yeah, this is really. Patty's carrying like 5 times the amount of groceries as Graham is.
Graham's just standing there and Patty's making trips back and forth, which is very typical of their relationship, I think. But Patty has the greatest line in this scene where she goes like, you know what we need? We need a wife. Like so good.
It's so good. Oh, so and then the expository information that we get in this scene is that they are the printers of the Lit magazine that the school does every year. So this is a good episode for you, Joanna, on your quest to figure out if Jordan is a steak knife or a butter knife.
I mean, here's what this episode does. It presents us with an incredibly sharp and charismatic figure in Vic, who insists to us that Jordan is like the sharpest steak knife in the drawer that has been left to dull and rust through neglect. And I just don't know that I buy it. But I appreciate the efforts. But this is what I've been talking about, alluding to, is the show does like a tell don't show version. I'm like, Jordan's smart, we swear, and I'm like, show me the evidence. But like, in this episode we get a character really insisting that Jordan Catalano is brilliant because eventually he gets bullied into saying the word adjective. So there you go.
Right. I was like, wow. I would not have guessed that Jordan knew the word adjective.
Okay.
What?
I feel like that's very basic, but I love like you think Jordan is like a freaking plastic knife. I think that's what you think of Jordan.
I just like I'm sorry, like I think that Jordan is a huge stoner. I think that he is not invested in school for reasons that I think are complicated and you know he brings to light a little bit in this episode. But I just feel like him knowing the word, like knowing that is an adjective, that like a descriptor is an adjective, like I just don't know. I just don't know where he learned that and when, because he literally has slept through every class we've ever seen him in.
But that's something like you learn when you're young and maybe like, right?
Maybe in middle school, yeah, and he hangs
elementary, and he's like, I remember. Sorry, I went to Montessori school, so
I don't think I learned what an adjective was in Well, maybe I did. A
learned
verb.
it.
I remember a verb.
Like in Montessori school, I don't know if you know this, but like in Montessori school, you learn shape associations with the parts of speech.
Oh.
So like an adjective, I think this is right. An adjective is like a pale blue small triangle. And then a noun is like a large dark blue triangle. And then I think a verb is like a red circle. I think that's true. Anyway, like you have these like visual associations. I just remember learning about them very young, but that might just be the Montessori approach.
What?
To like,
I maybe I learned the words, but I forgot them immediately because I did not have shapes to associate with them whatsoever.
Put your children in Montessori, folks.
So Vic is like, don't play dumb with me. Brian, under his breath, is so disgusted with the way that this class is being run that under his breath he goes, I don't believe this guy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And then Vic takes all of their poems that I keep calling them poems. Vic takes all of their papers and throws them out the window in a move to set the tone for this guy is going to shake shit up Liberty High. So buckle in for the ride. We cut to the Chase household where Brian has apparently picked up the papers outside of the school, especially his own and Angela's, because he brings Angela's infamous oak tree poem back to the house to return it and, of course, to see Angela. And is greeted by Danielle, who has another standout episode for little sister Danielle.
You want to buy some Girl Scout cookies?
Not really.
You can owe me the money.
Danielle, leave him alone.
Patty and Graham are like, kind of like, stop it, Danielle, but I feel like they're both kind of proud of her for being really annoying and trying to sell the cookies.
Also, Danielle is like a little crush on Brian, right? Like
oh, totally. Yeah.
Also, Graham is sewing, which I love. And Graham's like, what? So yeah, all the Graham crackers sat up and paid attention when they saw Graham sewing on that merit badge for Danielle. So
yeah, and this is like the first seedling of Graham and Patty, especially Graham as like former activist might be dramatic, but former people who engaged in like 1960s protesting, marching, etc., because they say in this scene, you know, your teacher shouldn't throw your stuff out the window. He should treat you with courtesy. And Graham says, haven't we always told you to stand up for your rights? We'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
Vic gives Jordan a little book. I could not see what it was, Joanna.
If it's the same book, is it the same book that they're reading from later? I don't think he would give him like Of Mice and Men and be like, read this and come back to me.
Yeah, I just didn't. I wanted to see what it was because I feel like that's a thing that happens in a lot of shows where like a teacher will give a special student a special book that has a special meaning. What is it?
It's true. Let's see if I can figure it out as we continue to talk.
Okay. Almost got my best use of flannel in the next scene, but I did not. I held back. Because I believe that my best use of flannel, if I'm correct that it is plaid, because this best use of flannel is for plaid, not just the material flannel.
Right.
I believe it will come later. So I want to give a special shout to the gorgeous maroon, blue, and yellow flannel fucking vest that Angela is wearing in this scene.
Yes.
It's beautiful. I want to like run my hands on it. It looks lovely.
Okay.
So Angela stands up for herself to Vic in this scene. She's like basically thought about it after Graham and Patty talked to her. And she's like, you know what? I don't think it's cool. Like I worked really hard on that oak tree poem and you threw it out the fucking window.
I just think what you did yesterday wasn't right. I mean, in terms of common courtesy. I just think it showed a lack of respect.
You mean when I threw your work out the window?
Yeah. I mean, that oak tree poem, that was mine.
Oh.
I put a lot of thought into that.
Did you?
Yes. I mean, why'd you do it?
Why did I do it? Good question. I did it to clear the slate. I did it to wake you up. I did it to do something. To find you. And now guess what? Here you are, wide awake, right in front of me. I mean, wasn't that worth it? I mean, that, poem, that, oak tree poem. That was yesterday. What are you gonna write today?
He's right. And she feels convinced by it.
Yeah.
So, score 1 for Vic.
Totally. And it echoes everything that we've talked about for the first 5 episodes. Angela is figuring out who she is. She's not the oak tree poem anymore. Who is she? Wow. Okay. We're going to find out.
Vic definitely did give Jordan Catalano a copy of Mice and Men.
Oh my God!
That's definitely what it is. You were right that it's Steinbeck and it's of Mice and Men. So,
wow.
Great. So Vic has convinced Angela that he did the right thing by throwing their poems at the window. But the part that I like next is like Rayanne really wants to come to class because she's like really intrigued by, and she's not the only one. Like a number of other students start flocking to this class. But what I do like is that Angela, and we'll see this throughout, that there are moments, we talked about this last week with the Zit, there are moments when Angela's like, am I friends with the right person? She's kind of like, I don't know that I want you there. It's kind of, I feel like, how she feels about Rayanne coming to class. She's like, you're not even in my class. And at one point, and then like after, well, I don't mean to zoom ahead, but like after, and Rayanne's trying to describe it to Ricky, and Rayanne's like, Angela, tell him the thing about this, and then like cuts Angela off and says it anyway. And Angela looks really annoyed because she's like, this is my substitute teacher. Like, this is my experience.
Yeah.
And my friend is like co-opting it, and I don't like it.
It happens a third time actually too, because way later when Rayanne's in the class and they're reading the pieces, Rayanne is like, he's not wearing the socks anymore. And Angela's like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to learn. Yeah. So there's tension, and the tension, we'll get to that scene, but the tension is also there because of Sharon, and Sharon's sort of like taking a step into the friendship dynamic again.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies just to see if you could save some cash? Well, Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states. The holidays are approaching, and everyone knows that this time of year, the sooner you can get things done, the better. For both shoppers and businesses, the best time to score great deals during the holidays is during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. And if you have your own business, whether you've been around the block a few times or this is your first year going through the holiday sale rush, the most important thing you can have is a platform that can handle everything that's about to be thrown at you. This is a crucial time for your business and your customers. And with Shopify, you can be sure that your tools and platform are ready for anything that comes your way. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to entrepreneurs who will be participating in their first Black Friday, Cyber Monday this year. With everything else going on, you probably don't have time to spend hours poring over every little detail in your online store. That's why Shopify's thousands of templates and tools help you streamline website creation and make sure that your site isn't just aesthetically pleasing, but functional and easy to use. Shopify's expedited checkout, Shop Pay, saves customer information and reduces hassle. And the best part is that it's been proven to boost conversions, meaning you'll see less abandoned carts and more profits. You can also stress less knowing that Shopify's award-winning customer support team is on standby 24/7 to help with any issues that arise, allowing you to get back to your business as fast as possible. This Black Friday, join the thousands of new entrepreneurs hearing for the first time with Shopify. Sign up for your free trial today at shopify.com/realm. That's shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm and make this Black Friday one to remember.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real!
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune in to Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
So, Ricky decides to come to class because he has to see the socks. Of course he does. He's probably going to wear 2 mismatched socks. They're all chewing on toothpicks by halfway through this episode.
Well, I like the toothpick thing because, like, that's fine. We all have, like, oral fixations, like, whatever. But, like, the sock thing really bothers me because, like, if he had... This is a good indicator that, like, this dude is full of shit. Because, like, if he had worn mismatched socks on the first day, you're like, oh, this guy's so in his head that he doesn't even know what socks he's wearing. But then it's like his intentional affectation. I'm like, okay, Vic, we get it.
Right.
You defy the, like, you know, whatever. It's just, I'm not here for the socks. I'm here for the toothpick, not for the socks, Vic.
Well, yeah, and what I love, and this is maybe like obvious, and maybe we've already kind of talked about it in the beginning part of the episode, but I just love the idea of them all chewing toothpicks and all wanting to like be just like Vic, because I do think that it is in high school when you do that kind of dance where you like slam into the wall, and you have to slam into the wall several times to like realize where you should have turned, maybe made a little bit of a different choice, maybe, you know, idealize someone a little bit less. And this is a time when you just, for most of us, go full on in to somebody like Vic Racine.
And Jordan is smiling in a way that like we have. So like everyone's using toothpicks. Jordan is smiling in a way that we haven't seen him do ever in the series, looking like actually engaged. And Brian is still pissed.
I know. I love it. By the time we get to this like montage and Brian is still pissed, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it to you, Brian.
Yep.
At least you're sticking to your lane. You're not bending. You're not being influenced by your peers.
No. They're like riding by candlelight, which is a clear fire hazard that they would not be allowed in school, and all kinds of stuff is happening. But they're learning.
Vic is closing the blinds on other teachers who want to know what's going on inside of the classroom. And then we get to this scene where the oak tree poem is out. He has challenged the students to like, fuck the system, fuck what you think you know, screw what anyone else has told you to be or do. Write from you, right? Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about sentence structure. Just write, like write your truth. And they do, which is powerful. The scene where they're writing by candlelight, like that was like moving to me in a way of like remembering back to special things that were done in my classrooms or like as a theater kid when we would like be there late at night rehearsing.
Right.
It felt like this moment when, you know, you could connect with your fellow students and like people who you wouldn't have connected with otherwise because it was like outside of the bounds of what you were used to.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. So we get some poems. Well,
sure do. Some pieces of literature.
Apparently I must call every piece of literature a poem. You know something, Joanna, somebody recently referred to me very like fondly on the internet as a ditz. I was like, and I shared it and I was like, is this what people think? Am I a ditz? And I looked up the word ditz because I was very curious. I'm like, what is a ditz? I immediately thought of Clueless, you know, like she's I guess a ditz. And then I was like, who are you? To myself. And I was like, I think I am a ditz. And I always thought that a ditz meant that you weren't smart. But when I looked it up, it just means you're silly and scatterbrained, which I believe really hit those two things on the head. So I want everyone to know that I'm accepting my one of my descriptors as ditz. I'm owning it. Queer ditz, Kristin Russo.
Okay, I'm gonna think on a better word for you. You're taking it back, and that's fine.
I'm reclaiming ditz.
I don't know that I like that for you, but I will think about it. I see what they're saying, and there's just like a brightness to you that I think could be misinterpreted that way. But I don't know. I don't know about ditz. We'll see.
Okay. Well, you can let me know. It can be an ongoing conversation. I was intrigued by it. It made me think about, well, whatever. I won't go too far.
But I mean, like, Cher from Clueless or Emma from Emma, if you prefer, is a good example of someone who's like, who's not stupid by any stretch, but is sort of like bubbly, I guess, in a way. And so, with maybe some hidden depths. So I'll think about what if you have the correct word for Kristin. Please
God,
email
I'm really
us.
opening a can of worms, aren't
Yeah.
I?
Please email us both the name of the Chase family cat and your descriptor. It's an adjective for Kristin.
A light blue
A
triangle.
light blue triangle. Please do email us at boilerroomcast@gmail.com.
So Angela Chase has written something, and so has motherfucking Sharon Shersky.
So great. So we are going to do dramatic readings, and we were going to like sort of Rochambeau as to who gets to do which dramatic reading. But then it turns out Kristin only has the text for Angela, so I will be doing the smutty poem over here. Kristin, I think you should go first. I think we should always end with smut. So I don't actually think it's smut.
I agree. Okay, so this piece has a title. Its title is A Fable. Once upon a time, there lived a girl. She slept in a lovely little cottage made of gingerbread and candy. She was always asleep. One morning she woke up and the candy had mold on it. Her father blew her a kiss and the house fell down. She realized she was lost. She found herself walking down a crowded street, but the people were made of paper like paper dolls. She blew everyone a kiss goodbye and watched as they blew away.
I love it.
I tried to be dramatic for you, Joanna.
All right, this one is called Haiku for Him. Well, the most recent, what's funny is like the most recent time that the first time that I rewatched this, since watching it for the first time, I forgot like who wrote the poem. And so for a second, I was like, did Ricky write this poem? Like that's because I definitely didn't think it was Rayanne because I was like, that's too obvious. And so I was like, maybe Ricky did it. But like Ricky, that's Ricky maybe has not had this life experience yet. I don't know. We can talk about
Ricky could totally write this poem though.
Okay, I love it.
It might be a little more tender.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So Haiku for Him by Sharon Shersky. That Brian was too embarrassed to read. He peels off my clothes like a starving man would peel an orange. His lips taste my juicy sweetness. That's the phrase that killed Brian Krakow. My legs tangle with his. We become one being, a burning furnace in the cold, dark basement of love.
Wow.
So not a haiku. And I don't think that I would have ever guessed that Kyle would have inspired a piece of work like this, but there you go, Sharon did the thing.
If I could step in as a substitute teacher for this class, I am like very impressed with he peels off my clothes like a starving man would peel an orange.
I love it.
I'm there for it.
It's a great simile. I love it.
The line that I wrote down as the last line of this poem was actually a burning furnace in the cold cement basement of love. And not a cold dark basement, but a cold cement basement. Either way, it reminded me of my high school poetry. That was where I was like, yep, this is like how I would describe something. Burning furnace in the cold cement basement of love.
As Rayanne says later in the episode, I really like the part where they become like the furnace. I agree. I think that's an astute analysis, Rayanne, and I really agree.
Yeah.
All right, so that all happens. Brian is upset that poem is going in the lit. I like that Vic says he knows which poem was Angela's, and kind of dismissively. Because she's being a little puppy dog, and he's sort of like, I know which one's yours, but he's like a little preoccupied with Jordan, so he's not paying enough attention to Angela there. And then we get a Graham and Vic scene, which
like, listen, if we did sexual tension awards in this podcast like we do in Buffering the Vampire Slayer, Graham and Vic would be nominated for one of them. I think it would all be Vic and blank.
No, I would put Sharon and Rayanne in there.
Oh yes, you're right for the bathroom scene.
Yeah,
yes, they got it. So this Graham comes in to basically be like, I'm supposed to get like these pieces of writing to print for the thing, and he walks in and Vic has just figured out that Jordan can't read, and he does this move where he doesn't let Jordan know that he knows this by like being kind of like shitty to him. He's like, if I can read the thing, like he doesn't want to, I guess, embarrass him or call him out or whatever. And so when Graham walks in, Vic is just like furious. no one bothered to notice that he never learned to read, is what he says to Graham, which is like, again, I think that Vic gets the duality, right? Like he gets to have this moment of he is genuinely furious at the fact that anybody can come up through an educational system and be sort of like left to the side the way that many, many, many students are. And that no one would have sat and really like try to figure out why Jordan wasn't participating as much.
So in questioning whether or not Jordan is sharp or dull knife, I just want to say really quickly, and just to make it really clear that, like, you know, if someone has a like learning disability or has been overlooked by the educational system or whatever, that is not me passing judgment on their intelligence. Like Jordan's ability to read or not has nothing to do with whether or not I think he's like bright. That's something else. So like, please don't think that I think that, you know, Jordan is a dull butter knife just because he can't read. That's not the case.
Wait a second. So are we trying to figure out if Jordan Catalano and Kristin Russo are ditzes or not?
Also, if you want to write a haiku for anyone, like this is haiku for him, not really a haiku, but that's okay. If you want to write a haiku for anyone in the show or Kristin, please do email us at boilerroomcast@gmail.com. I would love to read some of your haikus for characters on the show aloud. Our great guest, you know, that we did this bonus episode with this last week, Kate, she does these haikus for every movie that she sees, and she's doing one for every episode of My So-Called Life that she watches.
Joanna, I'm glad you brought that up because I have Kate's haiku for The Substitute. Would you like to hear it?
I'm dying to hear it. Hit me.
Okay, the haiku, it's a haiku review. So it's Kate's review of the episode in haiku form. The haiku is, so basically, it's, oh, Captain, my Captain, but make it deadbeat dad.
That's so good. Kate, who was such a joy to talk to, has haiku reviews of every movie that she sees on her Twitter account, which is a My So-Called Life reference at possibly even me. And they're really, really a joy to read. She's so funny, and these are a really fun thing to do. So.
And we're gonna try to get them in the episodes too if we get them but before we record. So
thank you.
Hooray
Kate.
for haikus. What a great episode to start the haikus with.
It's so Captain my Captain, but make it deadbeat dad. That's really good. All right, so it's deadbeat dad versus potential deadbeat dad with Graham and Vic. Graham's not a deadbeat dad. Obviously, he's sewing Danielle's patch on. He's not a deadbeat dad, but like this is the crux of Angela's poem and the crux of a lot of the season, right? Is like Angela grappling with her dad. Who is her dad? It's interesting to me that this inciting incident of Angela seeing Graham talking to this young woman outside her house happens after she dyes her hair and starts doing all, you know, she's not right. It wasn't like she saw that and then she started acting out. But but it is a thing that's really driving a lot of her questing for who's an adult. Am I an adult yet? Should I just look to myself and no longer my father to figure out what to do? We talked about how in the first episode Graham talks about how he doesn't like Angela traipsing about the house on a towel because she's like got breasts now and he feels weird about it. And that line in Angela's poem where she says like, you know, my father blew me a kiss or whatever, or her father blew her a kiss. Like that, you know, it's not that Graham is at all creepy towards Angela. He's not, but like that Graham interacts with women who he views as sexual creatures differently than he does women who he thinks of as little girls. And she has just transgressed into this other place where Graham is maybe not as good of a guy in the world. You know what I mean? So like he's a good guy like for Danielle. He's a great dad for Danielle because she's not in that pocket, but Angela's moving into that pocket, and that's causing a lot of drama for her and for her dad at this time in their lives.
Yeah, totally. And Graham is, you know, we get later Graham pulling her aside after we find out that Vic has left his family. He doesn't acknowledge it, but he does more than he has in this moment where he sort of holds her and says like, I want you, in case you're worried that would ever happen to you, it won't happen to you. That will never, that is not something that's going to happen. I would never leave you. Which is really the first time that we've seen him sort of take some ownership of the fact that Angela does know that something was up.
I have thoughts about that, but they're kind of spoilery, so I hope I remember them for this season.
Okay. Remind Joanna, everyone. Remind Joanna.
Yeah.
So Graham and Patty are sitting on the bedroom floor, like in various spots in the bedroom, and they're looking through the lit submissions. And of course, they come across the basement poem, the haiku for him.
Haiku for him. Call it by its proper name. Haiku for him. Yeah.
Haiku for him. And Patty, listen, Patty has a lot of great one-liners in this episode because they're worrying about it being Angela, and she's like, we don't even have a basement. Like, okay, Patty. And of course,
she says it's the end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
Oh
yes.
my God. It's the end of the world.
It's really good. And she's like, fuck no, this is not getting printed. This is not appropriate.
Yeah.
So she goes storming in. This is very Rose Russo. That's my mom's name. She goes storming in to talk to Vic because she's going to have her words and assert herself, which is, some of where Angela gets it from. And Patty rolls in, and Vic, this is like the first moment, I think, when I first watched this episode, but certainly when I rewatched this episode, where I was like, what's the deal with this guy? Like the first real, because Vic immediately is like using charm to get what he wants. Like, because he has solid points. I mean, I agree with all of his points about censorship and what have you. But the fact that the minute that Patty walks in, he's, talking about basically how good she looks is my little tiny siren is spinning in the background, waiting to see if it needs to be joined by the sirens around it.
Yeah, but he convinces Patty, come hell or high water, with flattery and what have you, that they should print the lit, and they do. And this is my favorite thing that happens next. They bring the box of freshly printed Liberty Lit into the school. And who should eagerly pass it out to the jockiest jock that ever jocks is like sitting in the principal's office, and he's like, the Lit mag is here. Oh, who'd goes running through the halls in his Letterman jacket, pressing copies of the Lit into people's arms. I'm like, what is happening here?
Just put one sexy poem in a literary journal, and you'll get everybody's interest.
That jock is like, you gotta read haiku for him, dog. You gotta.
When I was in middle school, I was reading, I believe it was The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, and there's
I remember that one. Sorry.
Do you? There's I'm sure it's just a regular sex scene at this point, but I was in 7th fucking grade, and I brought the book to school and had so many people read the sex scene that you could put it on its spine and it would just open to the sex scene.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah. So this is the principal is a fucking asshole, and we know that from the episode with Brian and the gun. But this is just underlining how much of a fucking asshole this principal is. The first thing he does when he sees everybody reading the lit is he walks into his office, and the woman who I believe is some form of assistant to him is reading it. He rips it out of her hands.
Yeah.
And takes it into the office, and then the next thing he does is scream for her to come in there immediately. Fuck you, dude.
I would like to say to him what the mean girls in the bathroom say to Sharon in the next scene, which is, Mr. Foster, try your own conversation and a muscle relaxer.
Oh, yes. This bathroom scene, apart from having that great line from the two girls who were like, zero self-respect to do it in the basement. I'm like, Patty, girls in the bathroom. They're
It's
not
a
really
metaphor.
fucking in a basement. It's a goddamn metaphor.
See, you're not a ditz, Kristin. You
So-
know a metaphorical basement when you see one.
So Rayanne and Sharon have this incredible moment of revelation where Rayanne knows she didn't write it, but she's claiming it because this is like the role that she has occupied, wants to occupy. And we talked about it a lot in the Zit. This is like the reputation that she's out to stick with. And she learns, because she's in the bathroom, that Sharon is the one who fucking wrote this. And they're both like, Sharon wants no association with it, and Rayanne does. And so they make this like pact, basically, that they'll just keep on business as usual. Rayanne will take ownership. Sharon won't have to. But then Rayanne's like,
how did you write something that good?
I don't know. Just kind of came to me.
My favorite part is when they become the furnace.
So this dovetails with what I said. Not to do your job for you as professional gay, Kristin, but this dovetails in something we were talking about, I think, in last week's episode, where they referred to Sharon as Angela's ex. And like, so this idea, like Angela bursts in, like I think we've had Rayanne burst in on an Angela and Sharon conversation in the bathroom. And this is Angela bursting in on a Rayanne, Sharon, and they have like a secret together. Right. And Angela's kind of like flustered and annoyed by that. And so this idea of like this love triangle of Sharon, Rayanne, and Angela, and just sort of like these being the actually stealthily some of the most important relationships in the show, despite, Angela's Jordan fixation. I really think, and this is, I think, because it was created and written by a woman, like the relationships you have when you're this age, you have these like crushes or whatever, but like these female friendships that are like so sticky and close, and like you're swapping identities and you're doing all this stuff when you're that age. And then also like your relationship with your mother is very similar for young women, I think. If you had a mother in your life, if you had that kind of like a thing. And so for me, the Patty, Angela, and then the Patty, Rayanne, and Sharon, like sort of triad, are these like very, very, very important relationships in the show. And I don't want to leave Ricky out of it and like that sort of stuff, but like at least here, I will plant my flag on that.
Yeah, totally. Somebody called me out, actually, speaking of my professional gay credentials, for not noting the fact that in the Zit, Rayanne basically like confirms the fact that whoever won Best Butt indeed does have the best butt, because she sits in front of her in homeroom. So again, I'm sorry for dropping the ball there. We are on Rayanne Sexuality Watch. Don't anyone panic. It's been filed. It's been put in the file. So speaking of like Angela being flustered, Joanna, Rayanne is so flustered. Like if you missed it, go back and watch Rayanne when Angela walks in the door. It's incredible. She like turns around completely and then turns back around and then like leans on the sink. She's so uncomfortable. But Angela is flustered, but also is like, listen, this is awkward because we're in this triangle, but more importantly, Foster has the fucking lit and is refusing to let people distribute it. So activate. Okay, so we cut from the bathroom scene to dinner where, Angela is pumped. This is like the way that I felt in 8th grade when I watched the musical Hair for the first time and was like, wait a minute. I was like activated. I wanted to be an activist. I wanted to change the fucking world. I wanted to find out how to do it. And that was my like trigger. That was my root, was the musical Hair. But Angela is sitting at dinner and she's like, Mr. Racine or Vic says we could file a lawsuit. Vic says we could stage a walkout. He says this is like book burning. Like this is like Nazis. Like she's like all like fully to the extreme of what this is, because she's learning that, injustice can happen and you can fight against it. And Vic is giving them like ways in which to do that.
Yeah. And this is where, Patty and Graham are forced to confront, like, that they had this reputation with Angela for being like very pro-protest, counterculture, sort of like this was their youth. And now they're like, well,
yeah.
Should you? So Vic's gone, and Mr. Foster, our favorite villain, like comes into the class, and he's like, you know, Vic's gone, he won't be coming back. And then Jordan on like Vic Watch is like, there he is, like out the window. They all go rushing to the window, and they're like, hey, Mr. Racine. He just like throws his fists up in like a power sort of gesture and like walks away. And it's Sharon, Ricky, Rayanne, and Angela who come running after him.
Yes, I have a note. Sharon goes with them! Exclamation point, because that's a big deal.
It is. It really is. And like, Brian's like, good riddance, you know, and Jordan's like, my the one adult who ever cared about me. But these are the four who run out, and Vic's just like, you know, don't worry about it. Injustice has happened. Like, he does not tell them the truth at all of what has happened.
He's not wrong in the fact that, like, this principal very clearly even states to Graham later, like, I wanted to fire him, but I didn't get to because we had this other thing happen first. But, like, you know, Vic's not wrong about the injustice. The lit was censored. The principal is a jerk. The principal probably would have fired him, whatever. But it's just the other side of this character is that he is passionate about certain things and not responsible in ways that are, you know, important.
He's not an adult, and like, you know, that's you know, a theme that Winnie is interested in. But like, what I like about well, I don't know, like Mr. Foster says, like, I would like to have fired him, but I don't know that he would have, because he threatened suspension and then he doesn't suspend
That's
Angela.
true.
So I'm kind of like, are you all bluster? No muster, you know, Mr. Foster, like, I don't know. But yeah, we find out Vic's secret, you know, that he took off, that he abandoned his family. Angela goes to confront him, and even before he tells her basically to drop out of school, which Angela's like, he calls her Amanda, which is like the real piece of shit move, I think, from him. Like, and so he calls her by the wrong name, you know, basically tells her, like, you know, wake up, sheeple, like, you know, you're an institution that's trying to drown your individuality. And she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And her saying, like, I'm not gonna do that is very much to me another excuse me, I was talking moment.
Yes,
you know,
100%. 100%. You see her thinking in real time as this is happening, which I don't think I would have been able to do at 14. I think I would have gotten there moments after, but the fact that in conversation with somebody who, although is not an adult by our estimation, is to her an adult, and her teacher, that she's able to stand up for herself, and on, like, in the minute he says drop out of school, she's like, I don't fucking think so, man, is a real testament to her ability to reason on the spot and, like, stand to her ideals even in the face of a teacher or former teacher of hers.
And, like, you know, insult to injury or whatever, she just goes, I kind of admired you, which is just such an Angela thing to say. Like, not I admired you, but I kind of admired you. She uses, that's how Angela talks. It's her, like, hedging 90s teen girl language, you know, which I'm not looking down upon, but, like, you know, that's just, it really struck me. She's not like, I fucking admired you, or like, I admired you, or whatever. She goes, I kind of admired you. Like, you know, the way in which she, like, throws things away as if they aren't important, but they are important, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's this great scene with Brian that I really love, where, like, he's still, like, you know, got to bug up his ass about Mr. Racine. She comes home, and, like, finally Brian goes, like, I have a right not to like him. And she goes, you know what? You're right. You do. You know? And it's just like, that's a great moment from Angela too, because it's like, I would not have had the maturity to say that. I
Brian,
can often say that now, I think, but, like, you know, then I don't think I had the maturity to be like, no, I don't know. Anyway.
Totally. And Brian, well, two things. One, in case you're thinking, listener, wait, she went and she found Vic, but how did she know where he lived? Don't worry. She told us she looked him up in the phone book. Just want to make sure that 1994 moment is there for all of us. Two, this scene with Brian, he's wearing his number 3 shirt, which is a classic Brian shirt. It must be noted. And then Brian is also doing this thing that Brian does, where he's like, is there anyone's car you won't get into? Like, he's just like pissed. He thinks that she's like having sex with the teacher, even though like he knows that she's not, but they have this exchange where she's just like, do you think that like is everything about sex for you? He's like, not everything, but it is.
We get Angela talking to her parents, them saying like, every fight's not worth fighting for. You got to pick your battles. Like, we've learned how to compromise this whole thing. And this is, once again, you watch Angela in real time, absorbing a lesson from adults, hearing them, but applying it in the way that she thinks, aligns with her sense of right and wrong. So she's like, what I heard you say was pick your battles and decide what's important to you. And I'm deciding that this is important to me. And that's what she does. And like, I just like, the rest of the episode is just like Angela photocopies the lit. She hands it out. Brian offers help. She gets caught, but like, she's just like, yeah, I'll take it. I did it. I'll take it. Yeah, I cut bio too. Like, okay, this is what I've decided. So
yeah, and this is like, I would love to hear if you're a listener of ours, and you're a parent of, a teenager or somebody older than a teenager. I would love to hear about like this moment, because I imagine that this is a moment that every parent has where they've been used to being the parent, setting the tone, teaching, trying to guide, and then all of a sudden suddenly have this experience. I'm sure it happens in many little ways, but probably around this age where you listen to your kid and they're actually like teaching you in a way that is very profound, which is what I think happens in this moment. They're watching Angela. It's like the way that Patty and Graham look at her in the principal's office, and she even like corrects Patty in the principal's office because Patty tries to like smooth it over, and she's like, Mom, don't. Like, this is not about you, and I am an adult person, whatever. Yeah. I am a grown person, and I am telling him what went down, and I am not apologizing, and you're not apologizing for me. Yeah. And I think it's like, obviously it's profound for Angela, but it's seems really profound for Patty and Graham too, and like seeing Angela in a different light for the first time, or for one of the first times.
I love it. And then like they admire her. They're like, yep, that's our girl. We did that.
Yeah.
And it's great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this last shot. I think of Angela, talking about how everyone else is like a paper doll, Yes. And I think of this shot where she's in the hallway and like everyone's sort of milling around behind her, but like, are they that's a very like adolescent sort of feeling, is like, am I the only real thing here? Or you know what I mean? Like, you're the center of your own universe. It's a slightly egocentric thing, but it's, you're just trying to form yourself. So like, I'm the only real thing, and everything else is just something that like helps me figure out what I am,
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing it all wearing my best use of flannel.
Oh my God, let's go there.
My jaw is on the floor. That flannel is divine. It's so fucking special. The best use of flannel of this episode.
Okay, Joanna. So what do you have?
Well, we'll start with mine because I feel really guilty because it feels redundant to last week, but
it's different. It is different.
It is different, but it's the same. She's once again wearing a pair of boxers. These are red versus blue. They're a bit more like voluminous than the other boxers she was wearing. And for a second, I was like, "Is it a skirt? Is it boxers? It's boxers." But it is her red boxers that she wears at the end of the episode, and I just really love them. And I've tried to find another use of flannel, so I didn't boxer 2 weeks in a row. But here we are. So what is yours?
I really didn't think anything was going to beat out the flannel vest that Angela was wearing at the top. But then I'm pretty sure, listeners, correct me if I am wrong, but I am pretty sure that when Rayanne is in the fucking bathroom with Sharon, first of all, she's wearing this like Western inspired like long button down dress, but she has it unbuttoned so you can see her bra.
What is the dress code at Liberty High is my question.
Seriously.
That was my note in that scene. What is the dress code?
Her bra, I am pretty sure, is fucking plaid.
Amazing.
I went back a few times. I tried to confirm. I'm pretty sure. So if you have to correct me, then I'll revert to the flannel. But I'll revert to Angela's vest. But I'm pretty sure that Rayanne's fucking flannel bra is going to take it for this episode for me.
Oh my God. Amazing. I'm looking at it right now. I think you might be right. That's
right.
It's incredible. But also, like, do you think when she's like out in the hallway, she like buttons 2 more of those buttons? Like, even if she buttoned 1 more of those buttons,
I don't get the sense that they really care too much about the dress code at this school.
They just care about censoring the lit mag.
Yeah.
They don't care that like Rand's wearing a bra. I think she looks great, for the record.
Yeah, same.
She passes my high school dress code of my personal high school, whatever that means.
High school Robinson.
But like Liberty High, which seems fairly conservative. I don't know. Well, you know, I have questions. I have a lot of questions. Anyway,
I want to make sure that we mention clearly, for those of you who rewatched the episode, you know this, but the arc of Brian that I mentioned in the beginning, this scene before they go into the principal's office, is where we see it turn for Brian, where Angela is passing out the lit and Brian is like, I'll help you. And she's like, Brian, you're going to get suspended. You get suspended. And he's like, I know. And I still want to help you. So it's like pretty massive for Brian, especially since he made it through like 45 of the 47 minutes of this episode. Really resolved to follow the rules.
And he also says like, she's like, you don't even like him. And he's like, yeah, but also censorship is bad. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good, you know, once again, that's like an example of a kid being like, okay, let me figure out exactly how to thread this needle of where I think what is right is right. Like Brian's like, I think, you know, this guy's a charlatan. Like, I don't like him. I don't like the way he runs his classroom.
Yeah.
You know, if I were a certain type of person, I would just be reveling in any sort of loss for the Racine regime or whatever. But like, censorship's bad. And so let's fight it. And you know, he's not just, I don't get the sense that he's just trying to score points with Angela.
No, me either. Me either. Right. He wouldn't get the points if that was his only motivation. But yeah, I think that he's really standing up for what he also believes in. The kids are all right, Joanna.
The kids are all right. No, I think like that's important. Is like I don't think we should write anyone off in this show. And I think there is a temptation in 2019 to write Brian off because he says shit like, will you just get into anyone's car? But like Brian, I think is worth constantly reconsidering. So
I agree. Brian is on a journey, you know, just like in the first episode when you were telling me, Joanna, that Patty is on a journey. You know, remember, Patty is on a journey. It's like Brian's on a journey too. And he's doing some fucked up things, but he's also doing some things that are not fucked up and that deserve, I think, to be looked at and to be recognized. And that's true for every, I mean, this episode is like the episode where you can say that about one of the main focal points, which is this teacher, right? Like is he all bad? No. Is he not an adult? Yes. Is he behaving in ways that are really, really troubling? He left his family. He did not tell full truths to the students that he was, you know, connecting to on really deep levels. All of that stuff deserves to get looked at. But did he also talk to the students in ways that so many of the other adults do not talk to students? Yeah. And it affected them. It affected Jordan. It affected Angela. It affected students who didn't even go to that class. And that's important too. So yeah.
I think what's important to me, like him abandoning his family is not a measure of a good man, but it's his own personal business. It's him like abandoning those kids in the classroom after he like really pushed them to, you know, lean on him. Yeah. And he's like, I'm here to wake you up. Here I am. I'm here for you. Bye. Right. You know, and that's what makes him flawed. And that's what I love about this episode is it like takes that trope, you know, like Robin Williams leaves in Dead Poet Society too, but he gets fired. Like, you know, all this stuff happens. But like to take that trope of like the teacher savior and then make that person like deeply flawed and awful also is why this show is so good.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, Winnie Holtzman. Joanna, what are you working on this week? What's going on? Where else can people find you?
Oh, you can find me talking about the TV show Succession. on the Still Watching podcast. You can find me talking about award season and Fantastic Fest and all that fun stuff on the Little Gold Men podcast. You can hear me talking about the TV show Lost on the Storm podcast. And we are doing a live show in Boulder, Colorado in November. You can go to
So
SOS.
exciting.
Yes, sosliveshow.com for information about that. And oh my God, Kristin, I'm really excited about the December buffering live show because
Fuck yeah.
I might do some costume thing. Anyway, we'll see.
What?
I don't do it often, but we'll see. The occasion might call for it. Anyway.
Oh my fucking God.
Or you can find me on Twitter at Joe Wrote This. So these are the things and the places and what's in my head right now.
If you're wondering what Joanna is talking about when she says the show in December, I do a podcast about Buffy the Vampire Slayer called Buffering the Vampire Slayer. And December 6th, we are doing a live show at the Brava Theater in San Francisco where one Joanna Robinson will be one of our special guests. I cannot fucking wait. We're talking about Fool for Love. If you're a Buffy fan, you know it is quite an episode and it is heavily featuring Spike. So
Today
Joanna,
I Googled a tutorial on how to do smudged punk eyeliner that looks like smudged, but not like messy and runny.
My God.
That's where my head is.
Holy shit.
I did some other Googling today. I don't know.
I'm
saying
more
it now.
excited than can be conveyed.
I'm saying it now, so I have to like be healthy.
Yeah, you have to stick to it. So yeah, you can find me in San Francisco on December 6th with Joanna Robinson and her smudged eyeliner. You can also listen to Buffering the Vampire Slayer. It comes out on Wednesdays, the day before this podcast. And we are 2 episodes into the 5th season as of yesterday. So that's fun. You can find me on Instagram, but guess where you can't find me anymore is fucking Twitter. Because I'm fucking left. I couldn't take it anymore. But you can find me at Kristin Noline on Instagram, and you can go to KristinNoline.com to learn about the work that I do with LGBTQ communities. And you can find us at Boiler Room Cast on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. And you can email us at boilerroomcast@gmail.com. If you like what we're doing, go on over to iTunes, rate and review us. You can just say you had a time. You don't even have to think of what to write.
All right, so now's the time on the podcast where we try to say go now go in unison. I set the pace. Kristin decides to try to figure out if I am going fast or slow. So on your marks, get set, go.
Go now.
Go.
Go. I mean,
it was pretty
Joanna,
close.
that was not bad.
It was pretty close.
Once upon a time, there lived a girl. She slept in a lovely cottage made of gingerbread and candy. She was always asleep. One morning, she woke up. She woke up.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real.
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune into Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
There are names that echo in the world of true crime, names that carry unanswered questions. Oakley Carlson, a 5-year-old girl who deserved safety, protection, and love, yet the system built to protect her failed, and Oakley disappeared. Her community still calls her name.
Or Ellen Greenberg, found in her locked apartment with 20 stab wounds. A case declared a suicide. But how does a locked apartment tell two different stories at once?
These are not just cases we have covered. They are people. They were loved, and they mattered.
Their stories deserve to be told with care, with depth, with truth.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Ricky.
We are the husband and wife duo behind Crime Salad.
Every week we uncover stories of the missing, the silence, the misunderstood. We ask the questions that were left behind. We refuse to let these stories be forgotten.
Because behind every case is a family holding on, a community seeking answers, and a story that deserves to be heard.
We invite you to listen to Crime Salad,
your healthy portion of true crime, wherever you get your podcasts.